Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Muscle Asylum TV slash radio. We've been trying to get this guy on for about 2 years now, more than 2 years. How long have we been recording now? We've been recording a while now, and he's finally committed to coming on. And in doing so, we appreciate it a lot because you're only 5 weeks out for your first show. So, a big welcome to Big Logan Robson. How are you, my friend?
Good, thank you. Pleasure to be here at last.
Yeah. So it's like a lot of people respect you in this industry because you're the type of guy that doesn't involve yourself in bullshit or drama in the industry, and you stay away from dickheads. Is that why you didn't want to come on the show?
No, there's no difference here. Jimmy's not here.
Do you know how much shit I cop? Because everyone's like, fuck, Logan's one of your best mates. Why can't you get him on the show? And I'm like, he just doesn't want to come on. It's taken years to get him on. And finally he's cracked.
It's not that.
I reckon James got something to do with it. Let's have a bit of a talk. So we will talk about your history and what got you into bodybuilding and all of that, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Let's kick things off with your prep so far. So you have committed to doing the Amateur Olympia. Am I right in saying this is your first show overseas?
Yes, since I was the last one I did, and the only one overseas was when I was 20, I think. Was NABBA World Titles over in Scotland, which I got second in, and I won a WFF World Title in Germany when I was 20.
Okay, so
remember, I'm 37. Not that we want to say that, but
you are 37. You're a year older than me, or not even a year older. When did you turn 37?
End of May this year.
Yeah, so only a few months older than me. So we can talk about what it's like going grey and everything, and Gally can counsel us and tell us what it's like being a geriatric. But okay, so it's your last. So it's your first show in a while travelling overseas and doing the Amateur Olympia, and obviously you're going to come back to the state shows and the nationals here. That's if you don't get your pro card. So. What is your goal overseas? Are you doing it more for the experience, or are you actually looking at taking it out and winning your pro card?
No, look, I've watched the Amateur Olympias and a lot of the Arnolds around the world the last few years, and I think, honestly, I could have placed top three in nearly every time, and some of them, only going by videos and pictures, but maybe could have even won a few of them. So I'm, by all means, going there to win. And win a pro card.
And is it, correct me if I'm wrong, is it top three of each category that get their pro card, or do you have to win your category?
It's win your category and the top three in the overall.
Top three in the overalls. Okay, so that'll be interesting. So, yeah. And you're, this is the first time that a few boys are going to do the Amateur Olympia. You've got a couple of Aussies that are keen to make the trip over. I think Timmy McKinnon's one of them, and Michael Lucy. Coincidentally enough, these are all in the same category. How do you feel about that? Are you going to try and get under 100?
Over there, it's 225 pounds, which is 102 kilos. So I do, if Patrick and I think that's the right way to go, we do get the extra 2 kilos to play with. At the moment, the lowest I've seen is 105 and a half fasted. So we'll see. I've made the mistake, obviously, other shows where I push myself under at all costs and being a little bit flat and things like that on the day. And the other bonus over there is the weigh-in's a good 48 hours before. Yeah. So I can potentially, if we think it's the right thing to do, I can make that 102 kilos and load from there. So I'm holding weight at the moment well, so that's something we'll obviously see a little bit closer to it.
The first time I was ever introduced to you, and not in person, but via a picture on a phone, was through John Davey. I remember, this is going back a while back now, I was doing the A&B. That's how far back we're talking. And John showed me a photo of your back. And I remember, I'll never forget the caption that he posted on Facebook at the time with a picture of your back was, "This guy will be pro." And it was the craziest back shot I remember ever seeing at that age. Obviously, that was a fair while ago now. We're talking close to 13, 14 years. Has it always been your goal to turn pro in all of that time?
Yes and no. It probably was more so in the early days. And then you learn a little bit more about what it entails being a pro and things like that, I guess. And for me, I do, because it's look, I don't want to travel the world, and I mean, if it happened, that would be nice. But I don't see myself ever making an Olympia or something like that. But to me, winning that title, whether it be at an amateur Olympia or Arnold's or a Nationals, is I was the best guy in the country that year or in that show that year. And that's, I guess, the target I'm after. And then having the experience of maybe doing 1 or 2 pro shows before we hang up the boots.
Yeah.
I touching on that too. Like I've known Logs for probably. You said when you did the world titles, you were 20. So I knew you around then. So we're looking at a good 17 years. So I've seen you come up through the ranks. I've seen you get a lot of like heartbreaking second places that really could have went either way. And some of these guys are going to turn on to pro. I've seen you win some brilliant overall titles, things like that. This is the most focused I've ever seen you, bar none. And luckily, Gretsch, because I'm obviously still in Australia at the moment, I've got to train with Logs a bit. He's posed for me. His weaker body parts are up. I don't know if you've prepped with anyone else, Logs. It might have been a little bit with maybe John back in the day, but you've obviously brought on Patrick Tour at the moment.
Yep.
How much has that influenced you? How much has that sort of helped you stay calmer? You've obviously put all the control into someone else, which for you, like, let's face it, the last, say, 10, 15 years, you've done it yourself. So how's that been going?
It's been really good. I've had a bit of an ordinary prep with sickness and throat infection and my wisdom teeth playing up. But training itself has been pretty good when those things haven't been too bad. This year, I wanted, I guess, someone else to take some accountability and me just follow the plan for once. And I watched the work that I've been following Patrick for years. Another person I looked at was Cement Factory, AJ Sims. But Patrick's athletes are always consistently in great shape. But I liked the combination of dryness, fullness that they get. And that was and I saw the work he did with Aaron as well. And that was why I made the decision to go with Pat. Things that are different that I do myself are there's no cheat meals. So I used to be a bit of a cheat meal king, and I mean that's been the hardest part, but it's actually been really good not having them and then getting the cravings and things like that. So yeah.
How much of a difference do you think not having a cheat meal has played on your physique? So this far out, do you feel as if you are progressing quicker because you're not having those setbacks that you might experience by having a cheat meal, or do you just think that it's more of a mental thing now because you don't have that temptation with those weekly binges? Do you think it's kept you more focused throughout the entire prep?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. You don't then crave the whole next day. Gut health's a lot better because you haven't ruined your digestion by eating shit for whether it be a night or a meal or whatever. The biggest thing for me is I used to find that relaxing. I mean, as you guys know, I'm in this 24/7, so it was nice to go out for a meal and not have to eat on plan and things like that. But apart from that, we've made do, and it's actually been of benefit.
Have you mentally adapted to the change in routine? Because it takes me a while, I know, to flick the switch when it comes to dieting where, okay, I'm this focused. Like it normally happens about 12 weeks out where I come really, really focused, and that's with a 16, 20-week prep. 12 weeks out, really focused, and then I stop cheat meals 8 weeks out. But I know that that's my reward at the end of the week. I don't know how I could mentally prepare myself to go into a prep knowing that I can't have a cheat meal. Did you have to mentally prepare yourself for that?
Yeah, a little bit. Look, I started probably with Pat at 17, 18 weeks out. You know what? I think that this show's bigger than that to me, and I don't need the reward every week. My reward is looking my best at that show on that day, and I can eat whatever I want after that. And hell, I'll be in Vegas, so hopefully get a few feeds in there, albeit that if I don't win, obviously I'll be coming back to the Nationals 5 weeks later. But I think this is the first time I've just got extra want this time, and I don't think about the cheat meals.
Do you think that makes...
It's a whole different feeling around Logs. It's just a whole different mindset. We catch up most Sundays, and I don't know. It's just like clockwork. He has his meals with him. everything's done on time. He's whatever substance, everything's there. So it's it's a whole different Logan.
This has been one of the first preps that I can remember Logan doing where I'm not prepping at the same time. And we used to go back and forth a fair bit on social media talking about how much we're struggling or whatever at the time. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not prepping this time, but I don't see you struggling at all. I just see the focus and the determination to just get there at the end goal, and that's it. Do you think that's because it's coming towards the end of the career where you're actually contemplating hanging up the boots, and you think you just want to go out with a bang and make sure that you do things 100% the right way in every possible aspect?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that is a big aspect of it. And maybe just because it's a much bigger show, and I'm not going all the way to Vegas to half-ass it, or, I want to do it to the best of my ability. And maybe if it was just the Queenslands and Nationals like I've done a lot of times, maybe the mindset would be a little bit different. But I think being a bigger show and knowing the calibre of athlete I'm against and what I'm trying to achieve, I think that has been the biggest reason why.
Yeah. Another thing we all like about you too, Lugs, is you don't put a lot of crap on social media. You see a lot of competitors going on about how they're struggling, they're suffering, things like that. Like I know for a fact you come down with 2 bouts of that virus that have been going around. So, Gretch, not once, but you got it twice, like really bad. And I think one of them put you out of action for a whole week, didn't it?
Yeah, there was no training for a week or more.
Yeah.
I got better for a day from a throat infection and a virus the second time, and then my wisdom teeth blew up. So then I went through 2 weeks of antibiotics with that as well. So 4.5 weeks of antibiotics and 4.5 weeks of shit training, no training.
So how was that mentally?
You know what? The wisdom teeth on the back end of the viruses and stuff, that was starting to push it. But you know what? It sort of almost refreshed me to get to that point at 8 weeks out and go, I feel like I haven't even prepped yet. Let's put the foot down and let's go, sort of thing. So instead of, sometimes I get to 8 weeks out, and like we say, all I think about is the next cheat meal or the reward or something like that. Whereas this time I was like, I've got a lot of work to do, and it feels like I'm just starting prep now. So in hindsight, some of it wasn't a bad thing.
You started off your career many years ago. Did you? How did you start? So let's talk about that, because I know that you did work with John Davey very early on in the day. I'm not sure whether or not he spotted you in the gym and that's how you started off bodybuilding. Where did it all start?
Well, I was playing sort of Premier League soccer on the Gold Coast, and I was making the state team for sprinting and things like that. So that led me into the gym at 15, 16. And it was actually Ari Hamalan that spotted me first. And I was 18 years old training at Empire Fitness on the Gold Coast. And he was running NABBA at the time. And he said, look, there's a show coming up soon. You should enter the teenage division. And I don't know if it was 5 months, 6 months later, just out of school. I did that, and I won the Queensland and National NABBA teenage titles. And that was it at 18, and off we went from there.
And this is Ari, you're talking about WBFF Ari? This is the same guy?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah. And Lee Newman, who's the head judge, he sort of did my diet, and that was different back then.
Not really. Most judges are prepping coaches these days, prepping clients these days anyway. But
there was no cheat meals then, I'll tell you that.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, right. And then how did you move on to John Davey? Because I know John's been a big mentor for you, and he's prepped you a lot with your career in the IFBB. How did you move on to John?
John helped me for one show 4 or 5 years later. And then I sort of moved on to just doing my own thing from there. But John's always been a big mentor, obviously in business and things like that as well in my life, and always been a bit of a figure there.
Yeah, and with your own prep, when you said you prep yourself, where do you think you gained all your knowledge from? Was it from your previous coaches, or were you always researching and basically concocting your own meal plans and prep protocols?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Was just from those coaches. Obviously, most of my mates are into it as well, so lots of cross thinking and just practice, I guess.
Yeah. So what are
Speaking
you?
of
I'll go. You go, Gully.
speaking of mates, you were probably one of the first to spot Aaron years ago, back in the gym in Worlds, and obviously both you guys are doing the show in Vegas. He's doing the 212s, and you're doing the amateur. I mean, how does that feel to see something like that come around and seeing the little fella? He's going to be on the big stage, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool and something we've talked about for a long time. And I could always, as you and I used to talk about, used to always see him getting that far.
Mm.
And to be honest, I think this year he'll be middle to high in the pack. And then within a couple of years, he's pushing that top 5. No worries at all.
It's pretty freaky to think about, considering the fact that you go back a few years and there's photos of all of us backstage at the IFBB, and now look at some of us progress so far in the sport.
Yeah.
How far have you progressed? So I remember there was a stage where I remember we competed at the same show, and you had placed second a couple of times, and it was starting to get really disheartening. And I remember, I can't remember, it was a national show. Can't remember if you placed third, but I'll never forget you walking off the stage and go, "Fuck, Richie, I'm going backwards. Don't know what I'm doing. I'm going backwards." And I thought you were going to give it up then, but you obviously haven't given it up. Tell us a little bit about that stage in your career and why you chose not to give it up at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think there was one show there I did FedEx and come sort of middle of the pack, and then backed it up a week later at the Australasia, and whether I'd eaten too much or rebounded and held a shitload of water, and I got 4th or something like that. I think Gary Wright and so on was in the lineup, and yeah, that was a bit of a kick in the butt. And I'd had enough at one point there, and I think I had a few years off from there before I came back. But nearly every other show I've been first or second, and nearly only been beaten by pros.
Let's go through that list. So I want to go through the list of the people that you have come second to, because there are some pretty well-known bodybuilders in that list. Did you were reading them out before we started recording, Gully?
Well, the national side, yeah, Con Domenico, who went on to be a pro.
Demetrio.
And obviously an extremely good Australian bodybuilder as
You
well.
mean
Andy Cunningham.
Con Demetrio or Con Domenico?
Con Demetrio, yeah, same thing. So, yeah.
It's really not the same thing.
You know what I'm like. And Andy Cunningham, who actually did get his pro card before he relinquished it, and Victor Dimitri. They were in the nationals. So I'm not sure who was it.
He pulled the pin after that, but yeah, could have turned pro at any time.
Yep. Then at the Arnolds, you've got who were the boys there?
Andy Bill's beat me. I've beat him. Nathan Williamson, who's obviously competing as a pro now. And then 18 months ago I placed the best out of the Aussies in the heavyweights, and a guy from Iran beat me, who's obviously a pro now as well. So.
And pretty much everyone on the planet had you winning that show too, from memory.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we go back to some of them, there's times where maybe I wish I'd put myself first more or put a little bit more into it. Obviously, I'm always prepping people at the same time and big teams. And, looking back, one or two times was so close. It's like if I just put myself forward that little bit more, might have been a different result. And I guess that's why this time, although I'm always there for my athletes and my people, I'm trying to achieve that this time and put myself first just a little bit more often.
Have you pulled back?
Let's touch on that, Logs, because
you're probably going to ask the same question I am.
Yeah, you're obviously you're the coach of the team called Team Sacrifice, which you've had for quite a while. You're one of the most well-known coaches in Australia and also internationally as well. I know you've got a few international clients. You're one of the most trusted coaches I know, and you're always, especially the last few years, are continually bringing your athletes in condition, like razor sharp condition. So you've got, like I said, a very, very good name out there. How is juggling, because you're also PT at World Gym Ashmore 5 days a week, and you're pretty much there from start to finish. So you've got that on board as well. I know Jane, your wife, who I've got written in my notes, the better half. Yeah. I know she's at home doing a lot of the online stuff as well. So how do you balance it all this time? Because like I said, and going back again, this is the most focused and in the zone Logan I've ever seen. But your workload's still the same.
Yeah. Jane, my amazing wife, is a massive, massive help, and she cooks all my food, has everything prepared for me all the time. and takes a lot of the workload as well. But we've got a big team, 25 people or so coming into season B, and we're both prepping as well. She's doing her second pro show, so she's doing the WVFF pro show on the Gold Coast, which is 3 or 4 weeks after mine. So yeah, we're pretty flat out looking after ourselves and everybody else. And like I say, it's a 24/7 thing. There ain't much time for relaxing at the moment, but we'll worry about that after.
Yeah. See, yeah, we all want you to get that pro card in Vegas. That'd be the absolute.
No, we don't.
But,
No, we don't. I don't want him to get it because I want to see him compete here. I want to see him win it in Australia.
You're that committed to what you've got going on back home with your clients and that. Like, you're booking literally, you're only spending a couple of extra days there and coming straight home. So it's good to see someone, or definitely a coach, being able to do that and not sort of somewhat staying over there and just, doing whatever and sort of keeping your clients to the side a bit.
That's very smart, because knowing the crew that's going, you'll probably end up in Mexico for about a month after the comp if things went astray. So it's probably smart booking those tickets.
Who knows?
Have you dropped back with clients at all? Like, did you actually turn people back this time and say, look, I'm prepping myself. I've got too many as it is, and I'm not taking any more?
A little bit. We were a bit more conscious of it and did it a little bit more online. So just a little bit less face-to-face, so I can obviously we can get to it when we're ready and things like that, and have set check-ins that way. And honestly, the biggest thing is the hardest ones have been the more people I prep in the same gym, because although some of them respect it, a lot of them still take a lot of your time. So they'll interrupt my training sessions, other paying clients' training sessions and things like that. So we are taking more of an online avenue, and especially after these shows. And you can do preps just as well. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the athlete's compliance that gets them looking amazing. So I can tell anyone what to do, but if they don't do the job or commit 110%, well, we're not going to get there anyway.
Do you do a pre-screening with your athletes? Or do you basically just meet with them a couple of times and then just say, yep, okay, I'm the right coach for you, and let's go from here?
Somewhat, yeah. There's definitely some back and forth and some research and things like that there. And I definitely don't just accept anyone these days, that's for sure.
Yeah. Don't need to.
Don't need to.
With
What's,
yeah, go on.
No. Look, you were thinking about that one deeply.
No, well, I was just thinking about trading with Patrick. So was Aaron's prep where he did win his? Well, did he win his pro card? No, where he qualified for the Olympia. So it was a New Zealand comp where he first prepped with Patrick, if I'm right there. Can't remember. Was he a massive influence in deciding to go with Patrick? Was Aaron? Did he basically talk you into it and say he's the right guy for you?
He did have a pretty big hand in it, and Aaron is very happy with the work Patrick does. And it was just the whole approach is what sealed it for me. So it's not that dissimilar to what I would do myself, and that's what I liked as well. I didn't want to go and do something totally different.
Then can you give us an example of how it was similar?
He carb cycles a lot, obviously. The difference being cheat meals things. A lot of the protocols are very similar. He's quite old school. So me being old school myself, it's just work hard, discipline, and just get it done, basically. So still plenty of cardio. What else?
What do you talk about plenty? Or how much is plenty?
At the moment, I do 30 to 40 minutes morning, 30 minutes at night, and 15 to 20 post-training.
Oh, wow.
Which is the middle of the day, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
But I've always done plenty of cardio.
Yeah.
I find myself to be very cardio responsive and not as, I guess, food responsive, if that makes sense.
I'm 100% the same. I know exactly what you mean. I can't do a prep without cardio. It just wouldn't work.
And I like to feel like I'm working that way as well.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me over the years is being able to step back and recognise when I'm doing too much. Because if I think the right thing to do is walk on a treadmill for 24 hours, I'll just fucking do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I think that's what will get me the result. I'll do it. So there was a prep I did 4 years ago where I literally wouldn't sit on the couch. If I was sitting down, I was on the bike in the lounge room, pedaling. I was so fixated on shredded glutes and being in condition and my goals that at the time, that's what I thought was the right thing to do, and I just did it. And Jane would have to tell me, get off the bike.
Was that detrimental, do you think, to your prep, looking back on it now?
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd go low blood sugar all the time and push it too far. And, my glutes were shredded, but I lost some muscle with it.
Yeah, yeah. And what would be your ideal scenario? So you're obviously going to America, you're doing your amateur Olympia there. Would your ideal scenario be to come back with a pro card? Or do you look in hindsight and think it would be actually nicer to win it in front of my friends and family in Australia?
Look, there's a fair team and a lot of friends going over to Vegas anyway. And I love Vegas. I've been there 5 times. And, of course, that being the biggest show, and no Aussie has won that show before as well. So that's definitely the ultimate goal.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome.
And then, if I turn pro down the track, an Aussie pro show would be something I'd look at or like to do then in front of the hometown or the home fans.
It's all we've talked about all year, I think.
Yeah,
literally. But how excited.
But the thing is, so many people have actually considered you the next in line to be the next Aussie pro for so long. And there's just always these guys that have just turned up and taken that spot. But you've always been there as the next pro. And people look at you and think back and think, how is he not pro by now? Because you've been around for so long and you've won so many big shows and you've been up there battling against the best. And I mean, guys that are good pros now. Is that daunting at all, knowing that? Or do you just brush it off and not really think about it much?
In some ways, sometimes I find it disappointing in myself that I haven't pushed harder at times or and got the result, really, that I'm still at it after all this time is a good feat in itself, that I'm good, healthy, and still can compete at that level. But at the same time, I'm like, well, why didn't I have a crack somewhere more, a bigger crack somewhere along the line and made sure I sealed the deal, however it may have been done? Yeah. Obviously, we can say that about many things in hindsight and whatnot, but sometimes that's the negative look at it, and then the positive that I'm still at it and I'm still always up there, and I do get better, I believe, every time.
Yeah. But on saying that too, and if you take this pro card in Vegas, which is what we hope you do, how much sweeter is it going to be then? Going through all this over the last, 15, 17 years, a lot of these extremely close seconds. Like you could have tossed a coin, honestly, some of them. This could be like one of those moments that you'll just, a really defining moment. And with that said too, I know you follow the overseas bodybuilding a fair bit. You do have quite a few good friends over there as well in pros and that. What's your take on a lot of the current situations over there at the moment? I mean, obviously, and we spoke about this before, Gretch, with The Rock doing his new show, which has been confirmed, the prize money is going to be going up. And there are going to be more shows coming up as well with similar sort of prize money. Is that something that, you guys, Aaron as well, you guys could be making a bit of money here and there. You just don't know. But is that something that you look at and you get a little bit more excited that it's starting to get a bit of recognition?
Yeah, the direction worldwide is great at the moment, and especially in the IFBB Pro League and things like that. There's more and more quality shows around, and then, like you say, talk of the Rock's new show and things like that, and the amateur Olympias and Arnold's around the world. Look, I don't think I would ever be a good enough pro to win any prize money, so that doesn't really excite me at all.
You don't strike me as the type of person who ever even thought about prize money, to be honest.
No.
Yeah. I'm going to change the subject just briefly here and say, Gally, have you done something to your eyebrows? Because they're perfectly shaped. I'm just looking at my computer now, and they are the perfect shape. Your eyebrows, not your lashes.
More like that again. You just Paul Gretsch, Logan. He has this thing about me.
Tell me you got them waxed. Do you get them waxed?
I don't know. Logan sees me most days. I don't know. They're not waxed. Definitely. No.
Yeah.
Loads.
No.
Tell me those eyebrows aren't natural.
They're not waxed. I'm telling you right now.
I'm going to get you to do a piss test.
It won't be past that.
You and your missus got married, what was it, last year or the year before in Vegas?
Last year in Vegas, yeah, after her WVFF world titles over there.
So
is she nearby, Logs?
Not really.
So you'll be having your 1 year anniversary soon, yeah?
Yeah.
Will it be in Vegas, will it?
No, we'll be there 2 weeks later, a week later.
Oh, fair enough. So you'd be in the middle of prep. I remember you guys talking about starting a family and whatnot, and you were actually umming and ahhing about whether or not you were going to do this show. What did the end push you over the line and made you decide, okay, I'm just going to give it one more crack before I go down that road in life?
Yeah, that was a choice we both made at the moment. So that's why we're both competing this season, because that's where we want to take that direction next and make a little mini-me, hopefully. So whether that'll be a short road or a long road, but that's the goal in the next 18 months or so. So yeah, that was another reason of doing a big show overseas and getting that experience. And, you know, like we said, I'm not probably going to ever reach the Olympia stage as a pro. So this is the next best thing. And I guess I'm treating this like it's my Mr. Olympia show.
Yes.
Albeit amateur, it's still probably going to be close to one of the biggest shows of my life. So
it's definitely what you need to do to bring your best. Especially when you get to your level. And that's how everyone should really approach a show. Gally, think of a question while I pull up the listener questions. I'm not sure whether or not we got that many. I'm just going to have a quick look-see.
But that's what an experience. Like, I finish the Olympia myself. It's a one-show format. Plenty of other Australians on that day. The next day, one of my best mates, Aaron, is on stage for his Olympia debut. The the Opens will be on that night. And the next day, like, what better bodybuilding trip to do? There isn't one.
No, everything just you can't beat it.
I'm spewing. I'm not doing it. It would have been great doing it, but way too many things on. It would have been great doing it with the crew. Yeah, it's kind of important. Yeah. All right, let's go through some listener questions. We've got about 24 here, so I'm going to skip through the ones where people are just sucking you off. Oh, I love Logan. He's such a good bloke. Shut the fuck up. Noah.
They don't really know me, do they?
Hey.
They don't really know me, do they?
The first one that gave you a massive rap was Lucky. Been a huge fan of Logan from way back when I wore red and black lumberjack and he was competing as a teen when he was murdering juniors. He was legitimately the best junior in Australia by that era by far. One of the young freaks that put people at expectations to go on to become pros one day. So, yeah, same sort of thing as we were talking about. Predicted stage weight, Noah Derwin. So what is your predicted stage weight?
104 kilos, but like we say, it depends if I try and make that 102. Obviously, there's pros and cons to both. If I don't have to get too flat trying to make it under 102, then I may still do that and then play being the heaviest of the class. But again, you might be against shorter guys, or else I'll go the super heavyweights and I'll be the shorter guy, but giving a bit of weight to some people. So pros and cons of both. It all depends who you stand next to, and obviously I'm not in control of that.
Yeah. We've kind of covered this, but we'll try and think of something to add on top of it. How has Patrick's approach differed from what you have done in the past? So obviously no cheat meals, cardio, and that's all the same. But in regards to the type of food you're eating, your carb loads and how intense your carb loads are they pretty much similar to what you're used to, or is it a little bit different?
Look, I don't know what we'll do the final week, but we started on, I was probably 600 grams of carbs every day, and I was probably on the same diet for 5 weeks. And then we started slowly implementing a lower day. So I'll just go high, low, high, low, high, low. And then as we wanted to get leaner and push the condition, there's just been more low or medium days and things like that. So a little bit less cardio on high day. So basically hamming yourself and then rest and load it back up again, I guess, and spike that metabolism through clean food. So lots of rice, sweet potato, all that jazz. A lot of different meat sources. So a bit of a pain for Jane, but every meal is nearly a different source of protein. And yeah.
With your carbs and your high carb days, is he putting most of your carbs around your training time, or is it spread out throughout the 24-hour period throughout the day?
It's on the high carb day, it's through most of the day, but it's still a bit heavier pre and post workout as well. And that's what I do myself as well.
Okay. Charles, but I'm literally skipping all the ones that say that you're a good bloke because it's making me sick. Very good representation for Australia. Shut the fuck up. Champion right there. Shut the fuck up. Awesome bloke. Shut the fuck up. I'm literally scrolling. This isn't even a joke. Ask Logan how the heck he seems to have time for everyone and is generally one of the nicest guys. Shut up. I've ever met, but yet the best amateur bodybuilder in the country by far. Let's go back to his question. How do you find time for everyone? So how do you structure your day? Because anyone that lives on the Gold Coast and talks about Logan Robson and personal training talks about how you start at 12 a.m. and you finish at 12 a.m. So you're literally working 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
How have you fit everything into your schedule?
Probably not enough sleep, which is detrimental to my own prep, but that's what it takes to get everything in the day. Look, I'm probably in the gym. I try and do my cardio outside for my fasted, just so I'm not in the gym for another half an hour for the day. Take the dogs for a walk or whatnot. But as prep gets more intense, then I move to the stair climber and things like that. But I used to just train wherever, and then that would just got messy because you'd miss meals or go over time. So now my day is very structured. So cardio straight away, and I'll basically train or see 2 or 3 clients, eat, 2 or 3 clients, eat, train about 2 o'clock, back into it by 4 o'clock, and then do 4 till 8:30 in the gym, and then online work at home till we fall asleep.
What time do you get up in the morning?
6 days a week.
What time do you get up in the morning to start your cardio?
4:45.
4:45. All right. Yeah, right. So I remember back when we interviewed Aaron, and he mentioned the difference between. Well, he mentioned you starting prep with Patrick, and he apparently pulled the cat out of the bag and wasn't supposed to tell anyone. But he mentioned that you are going to be expected to train on Sundays, which you don't normally do. Did you compromise with Patrick, and have you got Sundays off still, or are you actually training Sundays now?
Nah, most Sundays I won't train. I try and I'm in the gym 80 hours a week, so Sunday the wife and I try and relax and stay away from the gym. We'll just go for a dog walk in the morning. But if I think I need to go in and pose and do my routine or get a sneaky session in, I'll do it. But years ago, I would not.
I've got a good question here. This is actually not a bad question, but you've answered the first part. How do you find juggling your business and your own progress? But the next part of the question, do you think you could have been a pro already if you were less focused on your own clients? That's actually a really good question.
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered it a little bit before, and I said I wish I could have put a bit more into it here and there, and maybe the answer is yes. Because like I say, and as you guys know, some of those defeats have been by the skin of my teeth or toss of a coin, and had I given myself an extra hour a day or rest or treatment or recovery or less stress, that's probably the big one, not listen to everyone's whinge and shit, then maybe, it would have happened a lot sooner and obviously change the ball game a bit. Yeah.
And I can't remember ever watching you compete and seeing you backstage pumping up without answering questions on the same day. I have never. They literally have to dedicate a room to you to pump up on your own because they know your clients are just going to go in there looking for you. So there needs to be a place where you're easily accessible.
Yeah, I mean, it was last year, 18 months ago, I think we had 15, 16 people compete over the 2 days while I was competing. So yeah, it does get pretty stressful, and that's another reason I chose to do this show in Vegas, somewhere where I wanted to go. And yeah, I'm prepping. We have a team of 25 plus whatever else going on, but I'm solely doing that show myself. It's just me that day, just me to worry about. So that was another reason for choosing the show.
Yeah. A random question: what do your calories get up to in the off season? Did you do any off season with Patrick at all, or you just basically started with Patrick on the start of your prep?
No, we started at 17, 18 weeks out with Patrick. My off-season calories were about 6,000 a day. 900 grams of carbs a day. I started doing a little bit of work with Dean McKillop just to make myself accountable in the off-season. So he Him and I wrote a diet together, and again, another reason for choosing a coach, because it was just making it easy to stick to what someone else had told me to do for a while.
Yeah.
Because after years, sometimes I get sick of thinking about it.
Reece Evans says all the best, kill it big boy. Not only one of the best competitors in Australia, he's also quietly been one of the biggest contributors to the sport with his coaching and prep. I hope that's a client of yours. Just an all-round good cunt. That's it. That's all I've got. Gally, what else have you got?
You threw me off then. I was waiting for some more to come up.
No, well, they're all just people just saying how awesome a Blakey is, and it's honestly going to make me vomit.
Then we did. We put a post up saying, "Hey, any listener questions for Logan?" We told them about you coming on the show and stuff like that. Got a few, and everyone just kept writing how good you were, and I'm like, "Well, that's not what I asked." But
I've got my own personal question. You're going to be in Vegas. You're going to get a cheap meal. Are you going straight to the Cheesecake Factory?
Well, Cheesecake Factory will definitely be up there. What else have we talked about, Mick?
Oh, fuck, what haven't we talked about? Pancake fucking place. We've got Caesars or Bellagio, all you can eat buffets.
Fuck that. You don't want all you can eat. You don't want all you can eat. Go straight to the Cheesecake Factory. Are you serious? The chicken Bellagio?
Yeah,
the selection
there,
of
but,
cheesecake?
yeah.
Oh, man. I was making
Tell me everything inside. I don't know. What are you craving? Are you craving anything?
Cheesecake Factory is good.
Yeah.
You know
what are you craving?
You know what's going to kill you about the Cheesecake Factory, though? The wait. Because you can't book at the one in Vegas, can you? I think you can just rock up. I'm not sure if you can book, but...
I'll just start with a cheesecake straight from the cabinet then.
Yeah, while you're waiting to get seated for your mates.
And what are we doing? What are we doing Saturday night?
Drake,
I think. Yeah, so that'll be all right.
Yes.
Yeah. So we should be having a bit. We'll send you some pictures, Gretch.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I'll make sure I don't open them.
Yeah.
I'll spew on them and sit out. What else you got for me, Gally?
Don't put it on me. I had a list of things here, and you bloody pretty much spoke about them all. Who are you sponsored with at the moment, Logs?
Yeah, there's not much going on at the moment.
Oh,
Do you find
well,
that?
there's
Does that relax you a bit? Does it find that you feel a lot more relaxed actually not being sponsored by someone because you don't feel obliged to have to post at a certain time at a certain day? You can just think about your own thing and not worry about that?
Yeah, definitely, because I've got enough to do in the day, so sometimes that just puts added pressure and things on me. So that's probably why I don't avidly chase it or anything like that.
Yeah,
Actually, that's a good thing to talk about as well, the social media. Because obviously, Logs, we go way back, and I mean, you were back then too, Gretch. But Logs, back when there was nothing. There was no social media. We just did things because we basically loved to do it. We weren't posting anything. You think it's good or bad at the moment where we're at with it?
Well, I guess there's pros and cons to everything, but it's good. It's fitness out there a lot more, and it's not hard really to find the right information. People just like to find whatever they listen to, So, I don't know. That was a lot of shit. That was just mumble jumble.
That's diet brain talking. It's a high carb day today for people that don't know. So this is why we chose the Monday night, because it's a high carb day for Logan.
Well,
Zero.
It's what?
No, it's zero. Yeah.
You told me it was going to be a high carb day.
Zero.
Oh, you're doing all right for a zero carb day. I'm not going to lie. You do look like you're about to kill someone, but it's I'm actually scared.
Hang on, your high carb day was tomorrow, wasn't it?
High carb day will be Wednesday.
Yeah, but we couldn't do Wednesday, and we had to can tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So Logs was happy enough.
With your low carb day, is it high fats to give you a little bit of energy, or is it really pretty much the same amount of fats throughout your diet each day? And it's just
there's a little bit more egg yolk and salmon on the low day. That's about it, to be honest, though.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty low food day, but I just get the job done and carry on. I don't actually find it that bad. Sometimes I find the high carb day I actually feel worse because I get such an insulin spike and get a bit lethargic and crave more carbs and things like that. So I actually don't mind the lower carb days or the zero carb days.
It's funny. It's funny how many guys do that.
Day after day after day, but
yeah.
Hey, let's switch things again. Obviously, with the Olympia, I mean, we're going to the Olympia. We're going to be watching the 212s and the Opens as well. The Opens is interesting because we've got no Phil, and Gretch, I guarantee you, Phil's doing the Rock Show next year, 100%.
Because you got your inside boys, like your little puppets that give you the call and give you the inside.
No, I don't know Sean at all, but Sean's. We don't know. Sean, who knows? He could be, and I guarantee you, Sean's doing the post Olympia shows though. We've got no Rami. Who else is there? And we've got no.
Is Sean 100% out?
No, not 100%. I reckon that they're really not saying much until the day. But I think because he's only banned from AMI, the Olympia, he's eligible to do the post-Olympia shows. So that's why he's still training and dieting hard.
Okay.
So he'll most likely do that. Give us your top 5.
Oh,
If you're talking to Logan right now and it's no carb day, he's probably thinking this is going to be painful.
I'm good to go. I honestly, I think we've got Dexter Jackson. William Bonac has placed the highest out of any of them the last few years, but I don't know. He might be a bit of a boring Mr. Olympia. Brandon Curry is making a lot of headway and could possibly be up there too. Rolly will be in top 5. And what else does that leave us? That's about it.
Sandow?
Yeah, Luke Sandow. I think Luke Sandow will be top 5 or 6.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think he'll be up there.
Quality guy.
What a year for Josh not to be doing it too. Would have been like this was his year to make his mark. It's unfortunate.
About that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's obviously it's not going to be as high quality Olympia as previous years or most years, but it's still exciting in its own way because hell, anything could happen.
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
So it's still pretty cool. Yeah.
More people are going to be watching this year's Olympia than any other Olympia because it's guaranteed to be a new Mr. Olympia crowned, unless Dexter's the only one on stage that's won it.
Yeah, correct.
It's another great story in itself when he's won before, and what is he, 50 years of age and 30 pro win shows, and
yeah, he's about he's a couple of years younger than Gully.
Sorry.
I'm going.
Yes,
all right, we won't keep you too much longer. I'm just going to ask probably the most important question that we completely forgot to ask. Are you going to keep the beard for the comp?
Yeah, I've kind of got pretty attached to the beard now, so I'm not minding it at all. I'll probably trim it back a notch, but it'll still be there.
Definitely,
Yeah.
it puts you up at least 2 or 3 points in my opinion. Like yeah. Imagine how angry your most muscular poser's going to be. With, hey,
Extra ruggedly handsome.
yeah, that too. But I'll happily style it backstage at the Nationals too, because I'll help you out with that. We can line it up a bit, and yeah.
Folks, we'll
Because when I go in America, they don't think I'm representing another country that's not supposed to be there.
100%, they're going to ask for your visa as soon as you walk through. You can just take your passport with you everywhere you go.
Because on the same plane over, you've got Logan, you've got Michael Lucy, and you've got Alex Cones all competing and all going to be looking like tanned up, lean motherfuckers. I'm sure that they're going to be taken aside and
100%. The rubber glove is going on at customs, and you're all going to be taken into it.
we're a big bag jumper. Hey, Logs, when you get the pro card in Vegas, are you? Would you be interested in guest posing back home?
Back home?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess why not? Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll say this right now. If you win in Vegas and get your pro card, I will fly you to New South Wales to be our official guest poser.
I'm down.
All right, done. I make so many commitments on this show, and then Tony calls me the next day and said, "Did you just ask?" I'm like, "Yeah, just roll with it."
Yeah. I dare say I'll still be here too, so I'll come down and watch with you.
All right, Legs, we won't keep you any longer. Just want to say thank you for coming on finally.
My pleasure.
It's only been about 5 or 6 years we've been chasing you up, but wish you all the best. And I took the piss out of all those people talking about how much of a good bloke you are, but that's honestly just a testament to exactly the type of guy you are and the respect you have in the industry here in Australia. It must be a good feeling that there's not many people out there that think you're a dickhead, so congratulations, I guess.
Appreciate it. And it's nice though, yeah.
Do you want to say anything before we log off, Gally?
No, I just I'm pretty excited. Obviously, I've known Logs for a hell of a long time. I know how much this means to him, and sort of I've known, obviously his wife Jane, and she's pushed him through as well and been a big support. So yeah, this is an exciting time for everyone. And like you said, you've got Aaron going, you've got Jade, you've got a few of the other crew there, a few of the boys we know. Should be good. It's going to be a good trip. So
The thing about Logan, I just realised too, is you know how you get people that compete and they could even be your mate, but not great mate. There should be someone on stage that you kind of like a little bit later, and you kind of wish that they wouldn't win. You're never on stage, and people in the crowd are wishing you don't win. Everyone's always wishing you win.
they want.
You motherfucker. I hope you kill it in Vegas. I'm being selfish in saying that I don't want you to win because I do want to see you smash it at Nationals, but I've got a guest poser if you do win, so I win either way. So that's me being selfish.
They will be televising the amateur show as well, so anyone in Australia can click onto the Olympia website and they can watch the they can watch the download.
We'll make sure we share it all.
That's good.
Hey.
I didn't even know that one, so that's cool.
Well, we'll make sure we share all the info on Muscle Asylum, and if you're not following on Logan on his social media, hop on because his content's always informative, and he's a straight shooter. He's not one to blow smoke up anyone's ass.
You and Aaron just put up a leg training video, yeah?
Yeah, that just went up tonight. So on Friday we shot leg training video together. Oh, once again on 0 carbs for me. So, but that was a bit of fun and a bit of a push. And let us know if you want to see anything more like that from me, us, both of us, and what you want to see from me in general. I know I don't do too much sometimes because basically I'm just trying to get the job done and I'm looking after everybody else. But feel free to. For anyone to let me know what they want to see, or
I'll put my hand up and say I want to see a back workout. 100%, you're the best back in the country. So it's definitely something everyone will want to see. All right, let's wrap this up. Thank you again, Logan. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before we wrap up?
No, thank you guys for having me on, and everybody supports me. My amazing wife for all her support, and hopefully I do myself, her, you guys, and Australia proud and get the result. If not, we'll be at Nationals and hopefully get a result there. But it's all going to be a great experience, and I'm pretty bloody excited, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Look, all the best, and I know we'll keep in touch leading up to the show, but congrats again, and I'm sure you'll do everyone proud. So thanks for coming on, mate.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching on YouTube. Subscribe down below. Probably on that side, could be that side, I'm not sure. And then we'll put a poll up on social media on our Muscle Asylum page, and we'll have a vote to see if we all actually believe that Gully did get his eyebrows trimmed for this show today.
It just doesn't. Oh dear. And what else do you want? Logan sees me freaking once a week. What else do you want? What do you want me to say?
He's got time on his hands at the moment. He's got time.
I bet he does.
Oh. Yeah, I've got too much time on my hands at the moment.
All right, boys. Catch us all later. Thanks.
All right.